At 1,350 lumens, 54,000 candela, and a price tag of $319, the Modlite PL350 should be the best pistol light on the market. I purchased 5 of these lights at a cost of over $1,600 and put them to the test to see if they live up to the hype. Here are 5 things I believe you should know before buying the light. First, this light looks great and feels good out of the box. I love the light's clean design, and with the optional heads, I can set the light up to suit my needs. I tested the PLH V2 head, but other heads allow you to change the beam pattern, color temperature, candela, or lumens. It's also helpful that the PL350 uses batteries that are rechargeable in a standard battery charger. We're going to be seeing a lot more lights using standard removable rechargeable batteries such as the 18650 and the 18350. The switches are smooth with a tactile and audible click when you turn them on or off. The light mounts up securely with a Torx attachment and fits tightly on Glock and SIG pistols that I've mounted it on. The attachment system is solid. Second, the PL350 candela output is impressive. I might be controversial here, but candela is more important than lumens. Candela measures how well a light can throw long distances, show details in the subject you're identifying, and punch through photonic barriers. Candela is also what causes a subject to be blinded by the light and want to turn away. Now, my equipment measures candela output about 25% lower than the manufacturer ratings, but we can certainly compare one light versus another accurately. I tested against a selection of full-size lights, and the Modlite just dominates. Double the candela output of any pistol light I've tested. The PL350 maintains its candela lead over all the lights for almost 40 minutes, which should be sufficient time for me to clear my house and property. The PL350 provides the brightest hotspot to help identify details or control a threat. If I am indoors and need more splash, then I can use either baseboard or umbrella lighting to help diffuse the illumination. My practical test verified what I saw in the lab. The PL350 had the tightest and brightest hotspot. This helped me see further or punch through truck headlights that allowed me to see that threatening passenger therein. Now, in our warehouse space, our subject reported that the PL350 was the brightest pistol light he has ever looked at. He rated this a painful plus on our scale. We're going to test the 3 PL350 heads head to head. If you want to see that, subscribe and hit the notification bell down below. Third, runtime is about 30 to 45 minutes. Per Modlite, the 18350 cell supports Modlite heads for about 35 to 40 minutes of continuous use. I did not expect the same runtime as the TLR1HL because of battery differences. An 18350 rechargeable has a capacity between 700 and 1200 milliamp hours. The TLR1HL uses 2 CR123A batteries, each of which has 1550 milliamp hours for a total capacity of over 3000 milliamp hours. In other words, the TLR1HL has over twice the stored energy of the PL350. Now, runtime is the amount of time that a light is at or above 10% of the rated lumens. For the PL350, that's above 135 lumens. Excluding a light that I'm returning, and more on that in a minute, our 6 test runs showed runtimes between 32 to 44 minutes. This runtime is acceptable, but it is about half of the TLR1HL's runtime. If you're running a low light class with the PL350, I suggest you stock up on 18350 rechargeables to swap them out when one dies. Thankfully, Modlite uses a standard button top 18350 battery, so it's easy to order backup batteries and keep them charged. Fourth, measured light output is not 1350 lumens. While we emphasize candela, lumens are currently the most popular spec to compare lights. My testing captures all of the lumen output from a light from the initial peak to when the light cuts out. ANSI flashlight specs, which are what manufacturers use to measure by, require that the measurement be taken after running the light for 30 seconds. As a result of the way I test, I get both peak lumens at the very start of the test and ANSI lumens, which is after the light has run for 30 seconds and dies down a little bit. So I charged up the included Modlite 18350 battery on a Modlite charger, put the light into our integrating sphere, turned the PL350 on, and measured an initial peak of 1056 lumens. And ANSI lumens were 1029. Now Modlite advertises 1350 ANSI lumens, so I was baffled at the result. I have tested dozens of lights and found our lumen test equipment to be accurate. So I measured a second light. With that battery freshly charged on the Modlite charger, this light provided 1034 max lumens with 1007 ANSI lumens. To add insult to injury, the light went completely dead at about 10 minutes. So I thought the battery must have died prematurely. And so I swapped in a fully charged battery, and it still didn't work. So I swapped heads with my handheld PLHV2, and it worked. Sadly, it appears that this light failed within 10 minutes of the very first time I used it. Modlite has issued an RMA for us to return that PL350. Now, figuring the first two readings were not accurate, I double-checked the equipment and gave it another run. I tested a third light with a different fully charged battery. This light provided 1021 max lumens and 982 ANSI lumens. So I continued running tests, including one using a Trustfire battery, but this battery showed even lower output than the included Modlite batteries. In all of these tests, I didn't get anywhere near the 1350 lumens Modlite advertises. Maybe our batch of lights doesn't meet their expectations. I mean, Modlite is in the light business and they probably have calibrated equipment on which to base their claims. On the other hand, I'm not sure any manufacturer expects people out there to have calibrated equipment and to be posting reviews of it. So if you can measure lumen output, let us know what you find with your Modlite. I also compared the Modlite versus other full-size lights. You can see from the chart that Modlite does not have the highest output of the group. I contacted Modlite about our issues and specifically asked why the PL350 did not meet the lumen spec, along with a couple other questions. During the email conversation, I asked 3 times about why their light did not appear to meet their 1350 lumen spec. All 3 times, Modlite ignored my question, but did answer my other concerns. So I don't know what to think of all this. If the light appears super bright, but it does not meet the manufacturer's advertised spec, does it really matter? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Now, fifth, the switches on 2 of our 5 lights lost their on click within about 50 cycles. So these Modlite switches are controversial because they lack a momentary mode. Now, I personally like the feel of the switches. They have a positive click when you turn them on, and that works both in the clockwise or counterclockwise direction, and they also positively click off. You can feel this click and you can hear it. However, for 2 of our 5 units, the switches lost one on click within about 25 to 50 cycles, and then lost the opposite direction on click shortly thereafter.
We have 2 of our 5, these both have defective switches, where they don't actually click. They just kind of crunch or mush.
The light still turned on, but the switch felt mushy without the tactile and audible feedback. They did still retain their off click. I did take one pristine unit to test to see how long it would be before the switches lost that click, feel, and sound. I ran it through 300 cycles and it still at the end retained all of the clicks, both directions, on and off. I did reach out to Modlite's customer service and they said, as far as the clicks, please be aware that not clicking when activated counterclockwise is completely normal and within spec for all of our light bodies. Once we told Modlite that our on clicks didn't work in either direction, they asked if we wanted to return the lights, which we did. Now honestly, I don't think that the loss of the clicks is a deal breaker, but when you buy a product and it performs one way out of the box, you expect it to last that way for at least 50 or so cycles. Finally, I found that these switches take some getting used to. If I activate the switch with my offhand thumb, deactivating is usually done by rolling my index finger up the switch. With the PL350 switches, I did often overrun that off position, which then turned the light back on. It took some practice for me to get to the point where I was able to activate and then deactivate the light reliably. I no longer believe that this is an issue though, because of training. Now with these PL350s, I've run through the gamut of emotions. First was like excitement with the great look and feel and the super bright hotspot. And then I was disappointed that I couldn't get a single light to meet Modlite's lumen spec. Plus I had one head that failed and two sets of switches that lost their click. I've now gone through that grieving process and I'm not sure how much I really care about the lumens not meeting their spec or the couple of quality issues that we've had that Modlite's taken care of. I'm guessing that Modlite is still working through some production teething issues and maybe the next lights off the line will be perfect. Now I doubt that they'll get the lumens up to that 1350 spec, but with that candela output, does it really matter? You know, it's difficult to overstate how big of a step forward these are in terms of brightness. It's painful or painful plus bright, giving a strong advantage in terms of seeing details in the environment or individuals.
Yeah, I can't look at that one at all.
Either close or at a distance. Now, what do you think of the PL350? Let us know in the comments below.